Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, this is Maria Quattrone with Remax at Home and Be the Solution. Happy Monday. I have with us today a guest and a friend, Steve Lloyd from Stone Bay Holdings. We're going to discuss with Steve today how he is being the solution and some guidance to everybody about how you can be the solution and how we can grow together through this time that we're in right now. So, hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm good. How are you from sunny Siesta Key, Florida?
I'm fantastic and jealous that I'm not in sunny Siesta Key, Florida.
Yeah, look at this white boy tan I got going on. You're usually white as a ghost, but at least I'm red now. At least I'm red. The tan will come in like 2 months.
It's good. How are you faring through everything right now? You look good.
Uh, yeah, thanks. I'm really just taking action. In my life, I've been through so many trials and tribulations. This might be the biggest one. I mean, we're talking about for me personally, for the world and the country, and for most individuals, this is the biggest catastrophe or problem they're ever going to have to navigate through their life. But as far as me, I don't. I just everyone says problems, and I just say, we have situations that we need to get through, and it's just my mindset is so strong on being positive and getting through things, because everything I've ever gone through in my life, there's been many trials and tribulations, many catastrophic situations, not as bad as this, but I've gotten through them, right? I always told people there's one thing: they can't take away your smile and they can't take away your soul. So as long as we have those things, we'll be able to come together and get through anything. And I just don't, the option to be negative, the option to be down right now, I just can't be there. I have to be up, motivated, positive, and take what comes in front of me, and take that ball and run with it.
That's great. We're doing the same thing here. It actually gives us this the situation gives us an opportunity to become better across the board, whether it's through with our families and our health, emotionally, reading more books, or it's in our business. How are you handling this with Stone Bay? I mean, I know you have a lot of investors with your company. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do and how your company has transitioned in this virtual world?
Yeah, so I started in real estate about 16 years ago. Worked my way up with smaller properties, but we have Carrie Fakes is my partner. We own a company called Stone Bay Holdings. I own about $150 million worth of real estate between charged off second mortgage, reperforming mortgages. I do private lending, and then I buy apartment buildings over 20 million in mobile home parks, basically over 8 million. And it's just navigating what the situation is. There's just so much talk about not paying their rent and people not paying their mortgage. Some of the things that we took action right away. So I don't react to things. I'm very proactive. I attack, I call the word. Carrie and I had a meeting. I actually flew into Siesta Key, Florida. Carrie and I got on a call immediately. We discussed what we needed to do, what her roles and responsibilities through this crisis would be. We talked about my roles and responsibilities, and then we talked about the employees. I mean, Carrie had to shift everyone out of the office and get them set up at home with technology. We weren't really a technology company, but we didn't, use technology enough. But guess what? Carrie is getting an awakening that there's actually a lot of technology out there, and she's playing catch up. And it's been a little bit of work testing things. How come this doesn't work? How come that doesn't work? But at the end of the day, that's going to make us a stronger company. So my role was really, looking at all the assets do we have? Do we put some for sale right away? Do we buy more assets if we have a downturn? When should we buy more assets? There's a lot of the unknown. It's hard to navigate through things when you have the unknown. What I did that I've done is I was talking to a bunch of people. I have about 170 or 180 investors that we've grown over the past 10 years. That makes up a tremendous amount of money, tens of millions of dollars. And that's a big responsibility. So, some of the people in my business that have other companies, I asked them what they were doing, and they said, well, they're going to send out an email and then they'll get back to them. Well, I'm not sending out an email. That's just not my personality. So I literally, over the past 3.5 weeks, I called every single investor, and it took me 3 weeks to do it. It was 7 days a week, and every phone call was about 20 minutes long. But I got to talk to them, see where they were, see where their family were. I was able to see where they were financially. I told them where Stone Bay stood. I told them what Stone Bay's action plan was going to be over the next, 3 months and 6 months and 9 months. And the conversations were phenomenal, and they were beyond thankful for me calling them directly to hear from me, because I don't really talk to them all the time. It's usually the communication by email, but this just made it personable. And, I got to see where people were, and it made me feel so much better as a person to do that as a company. So, what you're doing as a company today and the actions that you're taking and how you carry yourself are going to shape who you are as a person. And it's also going to shape your company for the future. So one thing that I tell entrepreneurs is face the music. Look at where you are right now. What is going on with you as a person, you as a company, and what's your action plan to move forward and have great communication, whoever is in your life, whether it's personal or whether it's business, because everyone's under pressure right now. Everyone has stress. Everyone doesn't know the unknown. So the biggest problem with mostly entrepreneurs is their fail to communicate, their fail of communication to reach out to people when they need help. They hold this in, they get protective of it. And I think that's a massive mistake. 10 years ago, I did struggle. I was going through a hard time. The biggest mistake I made is I tried to solve the problem on my own. And I think today, if people communicate and tell people what their problems are and what they need, it might not be the first person you talk to, but if you tell enough people, then I think someone is going to be able to help some way to make your life better over the next 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that you just unpacked there, Steve. I'll start with a couple things. What is your position in the real estate market right now in regards to buying or selling?
Well, we actually had, so what I did is about a year ago, we really stopped buying assets. Prior to maybe a year and a half ago, we were buying an apartment building about every 3 months. We were buying pools of non-performing notes. And about a year ago, a little bit more, Carrie and I had a discussion. And look, my company is a distressed asset buyer. Okay. So, a lot of people don't want to sell. Well, we started selling things years ago. We sold one of our mobile home parks. We sold 3 apartment buildings to raise cash. I feel like I kind of follow Warren Buffett's theory. Mm-hmm. Cash is king. And when the market gets really high and I hear things like, this is going to last forever, this is different this time. Right. So if you follow history, if you think that way, history will kick you in your butt. So we decided to, since I'm a distressed asset buyer, there wasn't a lot of things for us to buy. Mm-hmm. And I saw things being purchased for way above that what a normal cap rate is. Cap rates going very low. Apartment buildings, we were getting outbid by 3 or 4 million. And look, I'm about as motivated and a challenged person, and I don't like to lose on bids. I bid on something, I want to get that property. But there was a time of discipline. There's a time of discipline to maybe pay up a little bit more than what you're normally doing. but you have to be very careful of that. It all comes down to rate of return, how much you can make, and don't fantasize in your mind that it's going to work out. Because if you change the rules of engagement when you're purchasing assets, you're going to fail. You have to have discipline. You know, what most investors don't have is discipline, because when they get caught up in a wave of making money and they're hearing their friends making their money and they hear all these things, they get caught up in it. But, you know, I talk to a lot of people and they would call me and say, hey, what are you doing in the market right now? Now, this was like, you know, this past year. And I said, nothing. They're like, you're Steve Lloyd. You raise money. You buy assets. I'm like, well, right now I'm not. So they're like, well, what do you think? I said, well, I think we're going to have a pullback. Now, my definition of a pullback, you know, 3 to 6 months ago was 5 or 10%. And if we're talking in the real estate market. So little did I know the world was going to change. And now my view is a little bit different. It's probably different than most people. People think that there's going to be a V-shaped recovery. I totally disagree with that. I think when you have unemployment that claims are at 16, 17, 18 million, I think it's going to be very difficult to restart an economy. And I think for investors that want to buy, I think they have to be careful. You can still get a good deal right now, but I think you're going to have, I think time is on your side. You have to let things filter out, be patient. And I believe that you're going to be able to really make some good purchases in a year to a year and a half. That's really my time frame for buying real estate assets. But who knows? I mean, people might want to dump. They might get scared. There's a lot of fear right now. They might want to get out of deals right now, and you might be able to work out some really good situations to pick up a piece of asset. So it's really balance of what you feel that you should be doing. Can you sleep at night? I always tell my investors, if you're in an investment where you can't sleep at night, you need to sell or get your money back.
Well, and it's all situation based. So there will always be people who need to buy and who need to sell, regardless of market conditions, because it's a solution to a symptom that they have. So, you know, we actually have a few, you know, from a residential standpoint, good opportunities for people in the investor arena right now, because the people want to be out of it, regardless of COVID-19 or not. And they wanted to make this exit before, and it's not stopping them from making the exit. In fact, it's pushing them further ahead sooner. Had this not, you know, come up. We knew that there was going to be a market correction. We just didn't know that it was going to be a virus that has caused it. What's really interesting, Steve, in Philadelphia is the amount of lack of inventory that's actually coming to market. We're probably down about, I say around 80-85% for active listings. So it makes even the listings that do come up more desirable simply from a supply and demand economics. Or we have buyers that are moving here from different parts of the country for like residency, or they're being relocated for work. We have somebody just coming up from who's relocating to PA because of they're working at Boeing. They bought the property sight unseen. So there'll always be opportunities. I think on the commercial side, it's a little, you know, it's different. It's bigger investments involved. There's more moving parts involved in it, and especially in development, because now the construction in Pennsylvania is still under stay-at-home orders. What are you seeing in Florida? Is construction still happening there, or real estate happening?
Yeah, let me just make one point that's great for your company. You're going to have people buying real estate or selling their real estate. If they're selling their real estate, right, they might want to sell their real estate right now, which I think it'd be a good time to sell right now. But you might have, most people, when they sell a piece of real estate, they upgrade, right? They buy a more expensive property, or they want a bigger property. I think with what we're going through now, people might sell their property and maybe downsize. So, you know, I think you're going to have a really mixed, but since you're the hottest real estate agent and company in Philadelphia, I think it's going to be, you know, type of a nuance for you to someone saying, I want to sell my house, I want to downgrade a little bit, right? I need to be more like a millennial. I don't need that 9-bedroom house. So I think there's going to be a mix of things for you, but I think it's going to be great for you. We talked about that before we started the show. So here in Florida, it's the same mixture. I believe still people are doing some construction. I know I live on an island. It's a key, but it's basically an island. And I do see people. Look, I think if you have construction workers and there's 10 people on a job, I think what most of the companies are going to do, who wants to work and who doesn't want to work and be safe with their family. So one of the projects that it's not far from me, I've been watching because it's across the street from one of my vacation rentals. I'm on Siesta Key right now. I live here probably 3/4 of the time now. So I have 7 vacation rentals on the key. I can tell you that there's nobody here. I can tell you that everybody went home. It's very eerie here at nighttime. It's like a ghost town. So when you go from a month ago, when there's probably 100,000 people on the key, to nobody, to like probably less than 1,000 people on the key, it seems a little weird. But as far as the construction goes, I think it's all been minimized, right? I think it's been, if 10 guys are working on a job on a construction of a house, I think there's 2 or 3 guys working that for whatever reason, there's probably 7 people that just want to be home with their family and be safe. So
does that scare you?
Look,
such a little amount of people there.
I expert at Verbo and Airbnb. No, it doesn't. Wait, what part scared me? What's your direct question? What scared me?
That there's nobody on the island.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm telling you, it's very weird. So I've been doing a little transformation in my own life, and I'm biking about 12 to 15 miles in the morning, and there's no one up. Like a month ago, there was people, everyone was walking, jogging, biking. So it's a little weird, but I actually kind of like it a little bit because there's no one here, and I don't have to get hit. Every other car that goes by, I don't have to worry about getting hit. But at nighttime is where, it's a little strange. I usually watch the sunset. And then I'll go for like a 2-mile walk, and it's a little eerie when it's dark and you're used to having traffic while I walk, and then to see a car come by like every 4 minutes, it's definitely a little odd, but I'm not scared. I mean, there's a bunch of sheriffs. I see about 8 police cars that are on the key that are protecting beaches and not letting anyone on the public beaches. So it's kind of a little strange. They stopped the public being able to go on the public beaches, but where I live, gated access. And you're actually allowed to go on the beach there if you want to. They're not preventing us from going on the beach. Now, I've only gone up to the beach once or twice. I just don't want to be up there. So it's a little strange. They can't stop you because there's some condos up the front, and they actually have rights to the sand. It's kind of odd. So you can go up there, but I think the governor here failed. He actually just ordered to stay at home I believe it was last Sunday or Saturday or Sunday. The cases in Florida are going up very fast. I think we're up to like 18 or 19,000 now. He was talking last week about putting the schools back into action. Look, there's a big senior citizen amount of senior citizens that live here. And I really think, look, I went into seclusion about 3.5 weeks to a month ago because one of my doctors called me, who's an investor of mine. He says, Steve, you can't go anywhere. Like, I was like what he was saying to me, but I did exactly what he told me. But I can tell you for another week and a half after that phone call, this place was packed. And I think what happened to people is they come here for vacation, they spend a certain amount of money. They expect it to be they're in warm weather. So I think they were safer from the warm weather. And I think they thought the palm trees were going to protect them from this virus. And we all know that the palm trees are not going to protect you from this virus. So, it took to about 5 days ago to where I really noticed that things were slowing down.
Wow. So I'm curious because we were talking about your places there, How did you end up investing in Siesta Key, and how did you acquire so much real estate there in such a short amount of time?
I actually I started coming here about a year and a half ago. Not that much, once a month for a weekend. Just fell in love with it here. I was actually, not to go too far into this, but I was a private lender on a couple properties here, which I never came to. We had a problem that we had to work out with the people I was involved with, and they ended up giving me back the properties that I had money on. So it's kind of crazy. I landed here by accident by being a private lender.
Wow.
So I end up owning. It's crazy. I own a duplex that literally is 4 blocks from the village. 1 block, you just cross the street and you're on the #1 beach in the country, number 11 in the world. And then 3/4 of a mile away from that, I have a huge quadruplex where I am doing this interview today. I have a pool. I have a courtyard. I was setting masterminds. Walk out the side here, and you walk 50 yards, and I'm on a gated beach. And then I picked up another townhouse that I can actually see out the window. Somebody wanted to sell, and I paid them cash. So I ended up with 7 units here, become an expert in Verbo and Airbnb. And then, I was completely booked till almost July. And guess what? The virus came and everyone canceled. So to date, for this season, we have $60,000 of rental cancellation, and that only takes us to the end of April. So we're probably going to lose probably about 100. I estimated us losing about $120,000 to $130,000 worth of vacation rental income. So is that the end of the world? It's definitely painful. You're just going to have to adapt. Thankfully, I only have 1 mortgage on one of the properties. The other 2 properties of my partner, I paid cash for. So we don't have an obligation on 2 of the $1,000 in mortgages a month. So we had the setback. We're not gonna have the vacation income. But thankful we didn't put mortgages on these properties yet. They were going to come like 2 months from now. And we're actually in the middle of working on one. I'm going to make a decision whether we close on that, because it's going to take me from not paying anything on this property here to paying out $8,000 or $9,000 a month. So they're decisions that, in these times, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. I have a $2 million appraisal on this property. If I wait to do the refinance, where is that appraisal going to be in 6 to 9 months? Is my property going to go down in value because I lost my rental income? It could drop to 1.8, and that could reduce the loan that I could get right now. So look, everyone's in a lot of decision making right now.
Yeah, and
Maria, I love Siesta Key. You have to come visit me when times are better. It's gorgeous. I ride my bike 15 miles. I'm doing push-ups and I'm working with my bands. I watch the sunrise every single morning. And then I'm down at the Intercoastal, and I'm going, should I stay here or should I go back to Westchester, Pennsylvania? And then all of a sudden, 2 dolphins pop out of the water while I'm doing my workout. And I'm like, I think I'll stay in Siesta Key a little longer.
I'm jealous. And Chip and I totally want to come.
Okay, you're coming.
We're coming for a visit as soon as this is all over with.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to live in
I told
Florida.
my partner, Carrie, that people... Yeah, well, you got to find your location, right? Every area is different. I just found a place where the people are really nice. And I can leave the key and leave my property and be in the city of Sarasota in 15 minutes, where there's a big marina there and boats, and it's definitely a feel-good place. So that's enough on Siesta Key. What else we got, girl, friend?
It's fun. Tell us what people can do, what entrepreneurs can do right now to take massive action and, not be sitting at home hanging out. And we have to change the way that we're working and what we're doing. So I'd love for you to share with us some ideas that you have that could help everybody.
I missed the first part of the question, but what I'm doing right now, is that what you'd like to know?
Some solutions that other people can take with doing massive action to help them grow their business during this situation we're in.
Yeah, look, I mean, we talked about a little of this before. Being positive, being motivated, being there for your employees, being there for as many people as you possibly can. You know, leaders create leaders, and if you have a business, you need to be a leader right now. You need to figure out what the best way. Some of these options might be, you know, I'm not coaching. I'm mentoring a bunch of entrepreneurs right now, and then they have to create a game plan. You have to sit down with a sheet of paper and what's the best thing for myself going forward. You know, some people, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you usually have an ego and attitude, and you have this spirit that I'm not. You know what? This business just isn't going to make it. So before you shell out all kinds of money over the next 5 or 6 months, and you kind of have in your mind now that the business can't make it, maybe you just let it go. You know, I'm doing this with 2 or 3 people right now. They have real estate. They have about $150,000 to $200,000. They're all kind of similar. They have $150,000 to $200,000 worth of equity. I think it's only going to get worse for them in May and June if this continues on. So I told them they're going to need money to pay their mortgages and pay their bills. So I said, go find somebody that might want to own that piece of property with you and give up some of your equity. So if you have $150,000 worth of equity right now, maybe a $50,000 will get you through the next 6 to 9 months. Bring in Joe or Harry, who has $50,000, and give them maybe 10 or 15 or 20% of that piece of property. It's so much better to do it that way rather than getting in trouble and not being able to sleep at night. When we get through this, the person that's in trouble right now, if they do some management of their property and give up some equity to bring on some cash, you know, in 6 months to a year, they're going to get through this with a sound mind and be able to move on. There's always options. I'm reconstructing maybe some of the things that I do in Siesta Key here. I want more vacation rentals here. I love it here. I need something to do. I need to create a life here, right? So, and Carrie and I always buy a piece of property that's just Carrie and I. Well, I'm actually going to put something out on social media over the next couple of weeks where who wants to own a property in Siesta Key with Steve or Carrie? And if you have $100,000 or more, or maybe $50,000, when I start finding these properties, which they're going to be here, the second home market in a vacation rental area is going to be an area that is going to drop in value. There's going to be a massive opportunity to pick up some amazing assets here. I'm going to find my owner occupied here in the next 9 months. But I'm just saying, you know, take advantage of the tools. You have to learn to adapt and maybe be an outlier to what everyone else is doing. You have to get creative. That's why I need people to talk to other entrepreneurs, or anybody can reach out to me at any time. I was on the phone at 11 o'clock with someone last night, right? And they're going, oh my gosh, I just got my 401k statement. Steve, what should I do? I'm sorry for calling you so late. I said, well, you know, the market did come back a little bit, but maybe you sell, you know, that man had $500,000 or $600,000, he had about $550,000 in the market. I said, well, why don't you sell a quarter of it right now? Why don't you sell half of your stocks right now? Make it so where you feel comfortable to sleep at night. So, you know, me, I don't have all the answers, but action taking, brainstorming with smart people and making smart decisions are where it's going to be. Think of how you become creative and buy some time to get through your situations. There's always an answer. The answer is always not just shut down and go out of business. But, you know, cash flow. I wouldn't say be careful. You know, cash flow is everything in a business. Don't buy anything or give up any money right now that you don't need to give up. I'm being very tough on the money that goes out of our checking accounts. Carrie and I are having very good meetings. We're both approving with whoever our staff member who has to write a check. I'm making sure that that check that goes out is imperative. You know, you might have a situation where you have a bill, and maybe you call that person and say, hey, I'll give you half of this bill now, and I'll give you half of that bill in 60 days. It's being creative because everybody's in this situation. I was down watching the sunset, and I knew this gentleman that he owns 7 restaurants in the Sarasota area. And I said very lightly, because I knew he's probably struggling because all the restaurants are shut down. I said, how are you doing? He goes, not good. This is really bad. But he said, you know, for the first time in my life, I feel like it's really bad for everybody, and we're in this together, and we need to figure out options. So,
yep, we are in this together. One of the things, you know, I don't know, you can call American Express.
Keep them moving. What we have to remember at the end of the day, this moment of time. This is I think I lost you there for a second. Our mind plays tricks on us that it's never going to get better. It will get better. It will over 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half. If you think back when, 12, 13 years ago when we had the mortgage crisis, I remember sitting there going, man, I got years and years to be able to buy properties in Florida. Well, guess what? That market dropped almost 40%, and I thought that I had plenty of time to go buy a home. Well, what happened, Maria? And I know in the Florida market, it came back in like a year and a half, and I thought it was going to take like 6 years. So there is going to be, pay attention, make smart decisions. But we might have a downturn right now, but don't be naive enough that America is not strong enough to have this downturn come back sooner than later and then miss your good times to able to. What I'm also doing is I'm talking to all my private investors, and I'm working on getting new private investors because look, the banks are going to be a little difficult in getting money from and funding in a timely fashion. They might lend money, but the process is going to take longer. If we were at maybe 40 days or 50 days to get a loan closed and to get the settlement, it might take 3 months now to get the settlement. So if I'm talking to another investor that wants to sell his property, let me buy your property. I'll give you $1 million, but give me 90 days to close. The man with the money or the woman with the money that can close on an investment property in a quick, timely fashion is going to get that deal. And that if someone has to close in 90 days and they're paying $1 million of cash, I might be able to get that property for $925. It's the speed of money right now. People need money. So I'm actually teaching people how to be my private investor, to be partner on my deals and show them, what it looks like. I'm telling my current investors to put together any money that you have, because when we start buying these properties over the next 6 to 9 months, we're going to be able to make a good amount of money, take away people's problems, and really make a phenomenal return over the next 5 to 6 years. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about being prepared, creating a plan.
Helping people to create solutions. I love it. The people that you're working with, Steve, are these people that you already know, or are you looking for new proteges?
You there, Maria?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear you.
I said you're working with a lot of people. Are you looking for some new people to work with as well? Proteges.
Yeah, I can hear you. You went away for a couple minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, me looking to work with new people? Yeah, that's better. What was your question?
Yes.
All I heard was yes.
You've been helping a lot of people. Are you looking to help some more? Can people
Yeah.
reach out to you?
Oh, absolutely. If anybody can IM me, if they have a question, if they need to talk to me on the phone, that's probably about 20% of what I'm giving my time to. I think I have I have experiences in trials and tribulations of life. I try to keep it real, and it makes me feel good that a lot of people are reaching out to me and asking me for advice. And look, everyone is different, but all I do is, someone comes to me with a problem, and I just go, "This is what Steve Lloyd's options are." You might pick one of those options, but if I can just help somebody a little bit, it's who I am. My mother raised me. My aunt raised me. I was raised by two incredible women, so I got that softy spot. And I'm the guy that, I don't have any competition. You'd be amazed how I end up working with my competition. Um, so I just want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to live their best life. I want everybody to have good relations and good partnerships. And the more that I fight this, the more successful I'll have at it. And I'm just not going to stop. I feel the things that I have in my life, I have crazy gratitude. Um, I just don't think that I deserve the things that I have in my life because I worked hard. There's people that work hard for 20 and 30 years and really don't make progress. Some of it's a lot of luck that I had, but I think when you really work hard, luck is a byproduct, right? You work hard, you get the lucky. My friend goes, the luckier I get, the more successful I get, right? So look, I want to help people. If I can save one person from losing their property or one person from being depressed one more day, that's part of my role right now.
That's amazing.
I mean, Maria, you see my social media. It's sunsets, it's sunshine, it's I'm talking to people that are having struggles. I posted on my Facebook today that there's a man that's been helping me at Temple with some of my squatters. It
Awesome.
was so awesome yesterday. We only talk when there's a problem at Temple. But yesterday I called him on Easter Sunday. I said, "How's your Easter going?" And I don't want to say his name. I said, "How is your Easter going?" He's like, well, I'm in my bedroom with my dog." And I'm like, "Oh, man, okay. Well, I just told to tell you and say Happy Easter to you, and that I really appreciate you and love you for all the things that you've done for me over the past 7 years." Oh my gosh, he was so blown away. I put it on social media today on my Facebook page. He texted me about 2 hours later, and it just changes outlook for the day. So look, I can't maybe help someone for 7 or 8 days from now, but I can reach out to someone and make them feel better for maybe. It's all we need to do right now because there's so many suffering. I'm in the moment here in Siesta Key. A month ago, there was 100,000 people in the Key probably. When I go through it now, the restaurants are closed, bartenders, waitresses, everybody is out of work. I go when I'm passing these condos, townhouses, these beach houses, they're all vacant. There's nobody there. It's mind-boggling the amount of revenue that's being lost for one, taxes, for one, payroll, for people to pay their bills, to just be able to buy milk, eggs, or bread. I was talking to one of my big investors. He lives in Las Vegas. He's like, "Las Vegas, we're a service industry city. It's all we have. It's service based with all the casinos, restaurants. They're all out of work." So if there's anybody on here that wants to find a charity or has extra money and need to donate or help a good cause, now's the time to do it, because there's going to be a lot of people that need help.
Yeah, there certainly is, Steve, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to help as many people as we can, whether that's emotionally, physically, monetarily, anything that we can do. I really appreciate you coming on today and being the solution. I love your posts on Facebook. They're always so positive and inspirational. And you have a lot of fans out there and a lot of people who look up to you. So I'm very grateful for our friendship. And I'm really grateful for you taking the time out today to talk to us about everything that you're doing, and that people can reach out to you if they need a helping hand. So thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. And if you need anything, or anyone watching here, please reach out to me. I'm here for anybody. I'll find time over the next week to help anybody I possibly can. Keep that great smile you have going. Stay positive. Stay on top of your business. Motivate people, and be the true leader. Since I met you 2 or 3 years ago, I watch you and these shows and what you're doing in Philadelphia. I know how much you love your city of Philadelphia so much. So just be a true leader, and people will follow, and you're inspiring a lot of people. So I'm grateful for that. And I want to keep seeing you on social media.
Thank you. Have a great week, Steve.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.